Russ, to Gia, stood on the tiny makeshift runway beside his two-seater airplane and stared in disbelief at the woman before him. Woman is the wrong word. She's a girl, a young girl. She can't be the teacher. In his mind, Russ recalled the kindergarten teachers he'd seen on television. She'd be middle-aged and plump, on the line between favorite aunt and kind story-reading grandmother. She'd smell of cinnamon and peppermint paste. This creature looked like a stiff breeze would blow her away. Hair the color of brown sugar swirled around her shoulders, tangling in the white faux fur lining the hood of her coat. Thin black gloves protected her fingers from the September cold. To Russ, it felt quite pleasant, with temperatures in the low 50s, so he knew she was not Alaskan. The girl met his eyes. Dark amber pools snared his attention, shining in the sun. Riley Jenkins, he asked, and she flinched as she nodded. You're the teacher? He insisted. She dipped her chin again, but not a single sound emerged. You need some sunglasses, he snapped. Just because it's cold doesn't mean it's always dark, and I hope you have better gloves than that. Yes, sir, she replied. I know a bit about the cold. They're in my suitcase. It's not that bad right now. Her softly modulated voice at least sounded right. Children will gather around her for Goldilocks and Rumpelstiltskin. I wish I could hear it. Shaking off foolish thoughts, Russ realized maybe he'd sounded a bit curt. Though the girl had responded without an overt show of emotion, her eyes had a suspicious glimmer, and her lips seemed to want to tremble. She'll have to toughen up if she wants to survive this remote wasteland. But he still felt a twinge of guilt over his harshness. Come on, girl, he rumbled, indicating the airplane. She eyed it doubtfully and then turned toward him, one eyebrow cocked. Yeah, it's safe, he growled. I've been a pilot since I was old enough to drive a car, and I know this little plane, like the back of my hand. You'll be fine. She sighed and trudged toward the tiny winged vehicle. He opened the door for her and handed her up into the passenger seat. Closing it behind her, he scanned Golden, Alaska, the town that would be her home until, well, she didn't seem likely to last long here. Houses and cabins clustered around a grocery store, a cafe, and a small church. Further back, out of sight, a few shops, a small movie theater, and various other local businesses interspersed among more homes. The K through 12 school complex stood off to the right in a clearing in the dense evergreen forest. To the left, trees crowded shoulder to shoulder in a dense green wall. Doesn't look like much to an outsider, I warrant, he thought, even though the small city made him a bit edgy all by itself. He circled the plane and hopped into the driver's seat, quickly firing the engine. Have you flown in a small plane before? He asked her. Yes, she replied. One time, my dad and I traveled in a plane so small it only had one flight attendant. He opened his mouth and then closed it again, but a quick glance her direction revealed a smug look on her face. Tease me, will you? He said with a rumbling laugh. I may just have to hit a few air pockets along the way. She giggled. I hope you have good vomit cleaning tools. Or a large barf bag. But seriously, no, I've never been in one this small. You sure it's safe? Wait, scratch that. Sorry. I didn't mean to doubt you. Her strange whiskey-colored eyes dropped to her lap, where her hands twisted nervously, mangling the fingers of her gloves. Damn, she stopped smiling. For a moment there, he didn't dare put a voice to the entrancing image of Riley's smile. Riley. Such a modern name. It doesn't suit her at all. She should be called Grace. Or Elizabeth. Maybe Charlotte. Something with a lot of history and class.